Most Americans believe that one day they will retire rich, peaceful, and completely free from all financial stress and worries. But the reality they never see coming is far more painful, shocking, and life-changing than they ever imagined in their lives. Nearly 95% of Americans end up reaching the end of their lives with little to no wealth left behind for themselves. And the most dangerous part is that most of them only realize this truth when it is already too late to fix anything. This is not because people are lazy, careless, or not working hard enough in their daily lives. This is because of silent financial mistakes that slowly destroy their future without giving any warning signs at all. These mistakes are not new or rare, they are repeated again and again across generations without anyone questioning them. And because no one openly talks about them, millions of people keep falling into the same invisible financial trap. Everything begins with what you were never taught. During your early years of school and education, school never taught you how money truly works in the real world outside of textbooks and classrooms. You were trained to study hard, follow rules, and eventually get a stable job to survive. But no one ever trained you on how to grow money, protect it, or build real long-term wealth. You learned how to earn money by trading your time, energy, and effort every single day. But you never learned how to make money work for you quietly in the background while you sleep. So when people step into adult life, they feel confused, unprepared, and financially lost. And they start making random money decisions based on emotions, pressure, and social influence. The very first big mistake that destroys most financial lives is simple but extremely dangerous. People begin spending more money than they actually earn every single month without realizing the long-term damage. At first, it feels completely normal because everyone around them is living in the same exact way. Social media makes it look like this lifestyle is successful, happy, and something everyone should follow. Credit cards enter your life and suddenly make everything feel easy, fast, and completely under your control. They give you the illusion that you can afford anything you want without facing any immediate consequences. Swiping a card feels painless, smooth, and almost invisible in the moment of excitement. But every single swipe quietly pushes you deeper into a financial hole you cannot see yet. Minimum payments look small, manageable, and safe when you first start using credit. But in reality, they are carefully designed to keep you trapped in debt for many long years. Interest begins to grow silently in the background without making any noise or warning. And slowly it starts eating your future income, your savings, and your peace of mind. Then comes a dangerous phase that most people never recognize until it is too late. It is called lifestyle. Inflation, and it quietly changes the way you live and spend money. As soon as your income increases, your expenses start rising even faster than before. Instead of saving more, you begin upgrading your lifestyle to match your new income level. You move into a bigger house that costs more every single month in bills and maintenance. You buy a better car not because you need it, but because it makes you feel successful. You start buying the latest phone every year just to keep up with trends and appearances. And slowly these expensive habits become a normal part of your everyday life. You begin to believe that you are improving your life and moving forward financially. But in reality, you are increasing your financial pressure and becoming more dependent on income. Time passes quickly without giving you a chance to realize what is really happening. And no matter how much you earn, your savings remain close to zero or completely empty. Then one day, an unexpected emergency enters your life without any warning or preparation at all. And suddenly everything you thought was stable starts breaking apart faster than you can control or understand. It could be a medical emergency that brings a huge bill you never planned for in your entire life. Or it could be a sudden job loss that instantly cuts off your only source of income and stability. It might be a family crisis that demands money, time, and emotional strength all at once. And in that moment, you realize how fragile your financial life actually is. This is where most people begin to panic and lose control over their decisions completely. And instead of fixing the problem, they unknowingly make even bigger financial mistakes. They start borrowing more money in a desperate attempt to survive the situation somehow, believing that taking another loan will solve the pressure they are already struggling with. But the truth is harsh and often ignored by almost everyone going through this phase. Debt can never solve a debt problem. It only makes the situation deeper and more dangerous. Slowly, the pressure builds up and starts affecting your mental health and daily peace. Stress becomes a constant part of your life that never seems to go away. You begin to feel stuck, tired, and mentally exhausted from constantly worrying about money. And no matter how hard you try, it feels like you are not making any real progress at all. Then comes the biggest lie that people tell themselves again and again to feel better. They say, "I will start saving money later when things become easier in my life." But the reality is that later never comes for most people living this cycle. Because life keeps getting more expensive and more complicated with every passing year. As years pass by, people slowly realize that time has moved faster than they ever imagined. And suddenly retirement doesn't feel far away anymore. It starts feeling extremely close and real. But when they look at their bank accounts, they feel a deep shock and silent fear inside. Because after decades of hard work, their savings are still not enough for a secure future. This moment creates a powerful wave of fear, regret, and confusion in their minds. They start questioning where all their money actually went after so many years of earning. The truth is uncomfortable, but it cannot be ignored anymore at this stage of life. They were never in control of their money was always controlling them. The system kept them busy working every single day, but never guided them toward wealth. And while they were focused on survival, opportunities to build wealth quietly passed them by. Working harder did not bring financial freedom as they were always told it would. Instead, it only made them more tired, stressed, and dependent on continuous income. Money was coming in regularly from jobs, businesses, or side work over the years, but it was never staying long enough to actually build something meaningful or lasting. Because there was never a proper system in place to manage, grow, and protect it. And without a system, even high income becomes useless in the long run. This is where a very important truth about money starts to become clear. Money must always be controlled, directed, and multiplied with intention and discipline. If you don't give your money a purpose, it will disappear without giving you anything back. And that is exactly what happens to most people who reach the end of their working life. This is the moment when most people finally start realizing that their entire financial life was based on assumptions. And those assumptions slowly turned into habits that quietly shaped their poor financial future. They begin to understand that fear of investing was one of their biggest financial mistakes. Because while they avoided risk, inflation was silently destroying the value of their money every year. The money they saved years ago is not worth the same today, and that truth hits hard. Prices go up. Living costs increase, but savings often remain stuck at the same level. This creates a dangerous gap between what people think they have and what they actually need. And that gap grows bigger every single year without them even noticing it. At this point, a new thought begins to enter their mind for the first time. Maybe working harder is not the solution. Maybe working smarter is the real answer. They start learning about investing, even if it feels confusing and scary in the beginning. Because they finally realize that saving alone is not enough to build real financial freedom. Even small investments, if done consistently, can completely change the direction of a life. Time becomes the most powerful tool when it is combined with patience and discipline. But the biggest challenge is not knowledge, it is breaking old habits and fears. Most people still hesitate because they are afraid of losing money instead of growing it. They focus more on short-term safety instead of long-term financial independence. And that mindset difference is exactly what separates the broke from the financially free. The truth becomes very simple but very powerful at this stage of realization. Money is not meant to sit idle, it is meant to grow and multiply over time. Once this truth is understood, the entire mindset around money begins to shift slowly but powerfully. People start realizing that wealth is not built by luck, but by daily financial discipline and habits. Small decisions, made every single day, begin to matter more than big decisions made once in a while. Because financial freedom is not a moment, it is a long process built step by step over time. They start focusing on living below their means instead of trying to impress people around them. And this simple change alone starts freeing up money they never thought they could save before. For the first time, saving money becomes a priority instead of an afterthought at the end of the month. Because they understand that if you don't save first, you will never have anything left to save. Slowly, they begin to avoid unnecessary debt that once felt normal and harmless in their life. And they start seeing how powerful it is to live without constant financial pressure and stress. Investing becomes a regular habit, even if the amount is small at the beginning. Because consistency is now more important than the size of the investment itself. They begin to understand that wealth grows silently when discipline is applied over long periods of time. Not through sudden luck, but through repeated smart financial decisions every single month. New income streams slowly start becoming part of their financial planning and thinking. Instead of depending on one job, they start thinking about multiple ways to earn money. And for the first time, money starts feeling like a tool instead of a constant problem. Because they are now controlling money, instead of money controlling their entire life. This shift does not happen overnight, but it completely changes the direction of a person's future. And this is where real financial transformation actually begins for those who stay consistent. But even after knowing all this, most people still delay taking action in their lives. Because change feels difficult, uncomfortable, and scary at the beginning of the journey. They keep telling themselves that they will start tomorrow, or maybe next month. But tomorrow slowly turns into years, and years turn into a lifetime of regret. The truth is that time does not wait for anyone, no matter how ready you feel. And every single day you delay, the gap between you and financial freedom grows wider. The people who become financially free are not lucky, they are simply consistent. They take small steps every day, while others are still waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect moment in life, only decisions that you choose to take or ignore. And those decisions silently shape your entire future, without asking for permission. If you are watching this and you still have time, you are already ahead of many people. Because awareness is the first step toward changing your entire financial destiny. But awareness alone is not enough if it is not followed by real action. Knowledge without action is just entertainment that fades away with time. Start small, even if it feels insignificant in the beginning of your journey. Because small, consistent actions are what build massive financial results over time. Save before you spend, not after you are already left with nothing. Invest regularly, even if it is a very small amount every single month. Avoid unnecessary debt that only gives short-term comfort but long-term pain. And start thinking about your future self, not just your present desires. The life you will live in 10 or 20 years is being decided by your actions today. And that future version of you is silently depending on the choices you make right now. Do not become part of the 95% who live and die without financial freedom. Instead, choose to be among the few who understand and break this cycle early. Financial freedom is not about how much you earn, but how well you manage it. And once you understand that, your entire life starts moving in a new direction. You still have time to change your story if you decide to act today. But that time will not last forever, so every moment truly matters. Stop waiting for life to get easier before you start improving your finances. Because life will never slow down for you to catch up later. The only way forward is to take responsibility for your financial future right now. No one is coming to save you, and no one will fix your financial life for you. You have to decide that enough is enough, and change starts today. Even if the steps are small, they can lead to a completely different life. Imagine a future where money is not your stress, but your freedom. A future where you are not surviving, but actually living, with peace and control. That future is possible, but only if you take action starting from this moment. Because knowledge without execution will never change your reality. So the question is simple but powerful. What will you do after watching this? Will you stay the same, or will you finally break the cycle and change your financial life forever?